strong, independent mother, daughter, and father. This is what the word women means. My thesis is about women and about their battles that came from far away, and today they are still open. During all her roots, the female figure fought a lot and went through a lot of evolutions. Only a woman can support that. Emmeline Pankhurst and Federica Montseny-Magnier are two of the most important figures in the international feminism overview. That's why I choose to talk about them in the first part of the thesis that looks to yesterday feminism. They are still considered two innovators during the campaign focused on the right for the women to vote. For the actuality, I choose to talk about the Western chase that has shaped the public opinion, make also some reference to the equity feminism. But let's start from the beginning. The women's figure has during the century some different rules. During the prehistory, she was mother and angel of the earth. In the Roman and Greek Empire, she was considered like a priestess. During the Middle Ages, she was seen like a witch, was connected to the esoteric and to the profane, and then led to the Inquisition period. The women during this period were judged by some courts with the accusation of witchcraft. After that, they were accused, tortured, and harassed. The most quiet period was located during the Elizabethan era. This golden age represents the apogee of the English Renaissance, and so the flowering of poetry, music, and literature. Elizabeth ruled for over 45 years in peace and prosperity. During the second half of the 19th century, feminism grew up and developed thanks to many female figures. Emmeline Pankhurst, for example, was a British political activist and leader of the British suffragette movement who helped women to obtain the right to vote. In 1889, she founded the Women's Franchise League. This was considered a radical organization since, in addition to women's suffrage, it supported equal rights for women in the area of divorce and inheritance. In 1903, she founded an organization open only to women and focused on the direct action to win the vote, the Women's Social and Political Union. After her, my attention goes to Federica Montseny-Magnier. She marked an epoch for the women's politics career. Federica Montseny-Magnier was indeed known for being the first woman to be a minister of the Western European country. She became the first woman in Spanish history to be a cabinet minister. From the conquest of these two women, we quickly reach to the today condition, and we wonder as a saying, the conception of women is changed? Is something changed? Have they reached some goals? The term feminicide has been coined really to underline the exclusively gravity of the diffusion of a criminal phenomenon connected to the kind, a phenomenon that interests different social and cultural bands, and is the result of a sexist culture that doesn't accept the female emancipation in all life's aspects. About that, Christina Hoff Sommers, an American author and philosopher, is known for her critique of contemporary feminism. In her book, Who Stole Feminism?, Sommers underlined her distinction between gender feminism and equity feminism, that she represents as more akin to first-wave feminism. She used to work to argue that contemporary feminism is too radical and disconnected from the lives of typical American women, presenting her equity feminism alternative as better match for their needs. The protection of our dignity, our role, our importance in the community, in the family, and in the politics overview, and again, the rights on our body, our child, and our life. This is the feminist idea that should be raised. There are still today a lot of women they are discriminated on the job role because of their desire of being pregnant. Recently, violence against women has been the main subject of all the international chronicle. The number of women that know the real meaning of the feminism is really low. Feminism today, unfortunately, have a negative meaning. The Westin case has opened the Pandora's box. Harvey Westin is an American film producer. Dozens of women accused Westin of sexual abuse over a period of the last 30 years. The scandal triggered many similar allegations against powerful men around the world and led to the ousting of many of them from their positions. Even in Italy, during the last Rome festival, the theme of the violence against women has been the main subject. In conclusion, in our life, work, and in all the other occasions, we must have the strength to say no. No to the injustice, to the violence. We can't surrender, never. It's a duty that we have toward us and for our freedom. Explain which is the meaning of being a woman is quite impossible. But as the great writer Oriana Fallaci says, being a woman is so fascinating. It's an adventure that takes such courage, a challenge that will never make you bored.